Hello and welcome to this week's Catch a Lift Coaches Corner. My name is Tyler Gant. I'm joined with Melissa Luke, and we got a Marine Corps veteran in here this week.
Yeah, buddy. What's going
Thanks,
on, man?
Tyler. Thanks, Tyler. Thanks, Julian, for being here with us this week. We are very happy to welcome to the show U.S. Marine Corps veteran Julian Torres. Julian, welcome to the podcast. And why don't you start out and tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'll give you the short and sweet. My name is Julian Torres. Served in the Marine Corps from 2007 to 2013. Originally an 0331 machine gunner, and got hurt in 2010. Stepped on an IED, lost both legs. Right leg is above the knee, left leg is below the knee amputation. And I came up to Catch Lift about maybe a year and a half ago. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Julian.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a lot that we're going to dive in with you. Let's start out. Tell us, give everybody a little bit of background just on your life. And, you've got a lot of different stuff going on, family, fitness, your business. Just, give us a little rundown about that.
Like you said, I am a father. I am a husband. Above all else, you know what I mean? I hold that privilege very high in my life. I'm originally from Modesto, California, and I don't know, man. I mean, family was always a big thing for me. Hey, come on, I got some company in the garage with me in the gym. Yeah, hey, and come here, and let's see what else. Yeah, man, and I do have a business running. I just launched it this year. It's a podcast, so it's some internet entertainment, and yeah, I mean, and then I'm a coach with Catch a Lift, so having all that with me, man, is pretty busy. It doesn't leave much white space in the day-to-days.
Keeps your mind straight then.
Yeah, man. I mean, and that's one of the things that I learned, man, is that you have to give yourself those things to do, and you have to find those tasks to improve on, because if not, man, dude, idle hands, I think is a veteran's worst enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of our fellow Catch Lift veterans hit us with I guess it's a kind of a religious quote or something a couple weeks back that he said, idle minds are the devil's playground.
Mm-hmm.
So that definitely goes hand in hand. Staying busy keeps your head straight. And I think like we talked about a little bit, yesterday before we got on here, prioritization of everything between is key in keeping life together between working and fitness and mental health.
100%. Like a lot of people think diet is just what you eat. You know what I mean? And that's not the case at all, man. Diet's also what you put into your ears and what you say out of your mouth. The things that you say to other people and to yourself. Let's say, for example, right? How many people have we ever heard, and how many times have we done this ourselves, that, oh, dude, I'm an idiot. I'm a klutz, or don't be saying stuff like that, man. You know what I mean? Because those little increments of self-doubt, self-loathing, dude, like that adds up, man. Those little grains of rice, dude, eventually will collapse you. You know what I mean? And it's just, you got to quit with that stuff, man. You know what I mean? What you say to other people, dude, in arguments and stuff like that, if you right away reach for hate and stuff like that, it's hard for you not to think one thought and feel a separate feeling.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're spitting out venom, dude. Yeah, dude. So chances are, if you're spitting out venom, you're feeling that venom inside you too, man. And nah, man. Somebody who's dealing with like a physical injury or a mental injury, you need all the the mental fortitude you can conjure up, man.
Absolutely.
So, Julian, if we can go back to kind of and kind of talk about that, those early days, you know, after the injury, and where did you look to for that mental fortitude, and kind of, you know, how did you approach that? How did you, I'm not sure how to put it,
So
you know.
yeah, I think what you're asking is that like how did I realize this? How did I
Right, right.
come to
How did you
believe
get to
this?
that point? Because this wasn't, you know, right, a
No,
situation, you
this
know, where you started your
no.
recovery and you were there.
And like I don't even want to put off the I don't even want to put off the illusion that I got it all together either. You know what I mean? Like I struggle every single day. Every single day is a battle, and it has been since I got blown up. You know what I mean? So what I want to give credit to is if I had to look back and I had to like think about what was it that really got me out of the muck? You know what I mean? The sticky stuff. You know what I mean? Like the stuff that you couldn't walk through.
Right.
And I would have to say that is community above all else. I give credit to a Vietnam veteran named Jack Lyon. I give a lot of credit to my good friend Carlos Salgado, Staff Sergeant in the Marine Corps, and also my peers. But most importantly, man, my wife. You know what I mean? Like she is. We're high school sweethearts. Went to senior prom, and I mean we've been together since May 12th, 2006, and we have two beautiful kids together. And if it wasn't for her to be able to, and let me tell you this, like she's the type of friend that knows exactly what to say, when to say it, the tempo to say it at, because she knows me. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's times where she's been like, "Oh, come here, like you need a hug," and it's giving me a hug, and it's been like, "Hey, man, it's gonna be all right." And there's been other times where she's been like, "Hey, you can do better. I'm expecting more out of you. You need it. You're expecting more out of yourself, but you can't see that right now. So I need to help show that to you." And that's a real friend. You know what I mean? And so, um, the idea of having a community around you that not only expects you to grow but also demands you to grow
Yeah.
is paramount. You can't have a success story without some kind of help. There's this whole talk about pull yourself up from your bootstraps. And, if if you're stuck in this coronavirus, man, and you're not getting a book, read, every 3 weeks, then you're wrong. If you're not
Right.
getting yourself qualified in position, look, man, like I get it, dude. You need to be super high driven and stuff like that, but there's also a time to like pause and reflect and strategize and chill out, man. You're a human being, you're not a robot. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Taking a step back and and,
Yeah.
and really like analyzing what, remembering your values and analyzing whether or not you're still what you're doing is in line to progress and work towards your goals and stay in line with your values.
Yeah, yeah. So like looking back at it, man, that's exactly what I did. Is that, like I wrote down on a piece of paper, man, because I believe writing everything down, hardcore, pen and paper, and putting that, or even on the mirror in your bathroom, writing what your values are and your principles. Like, what is something that you won't compromise on, and put it down. Like, no matter what, I'm not going to compromise being a husband, and I'm not going to compromise being a father. Everything else comes second. You know what I mean? To those priorities in my life. And so, when I have those values and those principles that I like that's my flagship, that's my true north, and everything else can just kind of help fill like help um make all other facets better. All like they're all like intertwined and they're all supporting each other. It's
Yeah.
you're talking about pillars and houses. You know what I mean? Like these are the
Right.
things that my house stands on, and everything else is just details, man.
I think that's something really, really important to, you know, point out what you did. You know, I think that so often that, especially right now, like you said, and in this pandemic time, like people have kind of fallen prey to the internet memes of, if you're not being, super productive, and if you're not learning another language, if you're not picking up another skill, that, your time has been a waste, or, that you lack discipline or motivation or a number of other negative things. And there's definitely a toxic productivity mindset there. But I think, like you said, you establish those personal core values.
Yeah. And there's two things that I want to say too. It's like you have to understand how a character gets developed. And it all starts with your thoughts. You know what I mean? And this goes to what I was talking about, your diet. You know what I mean? So you have your thoughts, right? And your thoughts make you feel a certain way. And then your feelings will make you act a certain way. And then from those actions, you get the results that you're looking for. So let's say, for instance, I'm a combat veteran. Well, I am a combat veteran, but let's just say for fun, I'm explaining a combat veteran type. I'm a combat veteran, or I'm a veteran, and I have PTSD, and I want people to know I have PTSD. So let's just say, I'm not saying everybody, but let's just say this, that I haven't found a way yet to harness that disability and use that disability in my advantage. So what I want people to do is be out there, and I want people to know that, hey man, and validate me and act that, hey, this dude is hurting. I am hurting. I am nervous in big crowds and stuff like that. And so when I act a certain way, I may be like a jerk, or I may be just not fun to be around. And when I act that certain way of not fun to be around, because I want people to treat me a certain way, because I want to be validated as a warrior. And I think this is what a warrior should be. Before you know it, you get those results, right? And those results give me validation. So I like that. So I'm going to keep doing that. And before you know it, those habits get created of me being just cold off and turned off to the world, not saying yes to opportunities, always saying no, get away from me. Arm's distance, get away. I don't want to bring nobody in. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, that's your character. Those habits that you thought that were once intangible thing, that weren't very, weren't more than just a whisper in your mind, have now developed into something tangible, something you can touch, something
now they're reality.
It comes a reality, man. So, it doesn't matter how ridiculous you got to get with it. I remember when I was first got hurt, dude, I was depressed, man. I was depressed. And even to this day, man, I still fight with depression. And am I enough? You know what I mean? Or am I a hindrance to people? There's times where I feel like I got to be a man and a half to show that, hey, dude, I am working hard. I can produce results. Mm-hmm. And when I do those types of things, I got to look at myself and be like, hey, man, like, is this really part of your mission? Are you really hurting yourself? You know what I mean? And just being honest with yourself, not hiding from the fact that you have to be somebody you're not. You know what I mean? And being,
I think if you validate yourself,
mm-hmm.
then that's going to turn around and change your reality. Like if you're out there searching for validation from other people,
right,
you're always going to be in a shithole, because it's nobody's job to give you validation. If you can't validate yourself, and like you were saying earlier, if you're just spitting venom, like, and a lot of times, that's if you're just angry and nasty to everybody around you, that's a projection of what you're thinking of yourself. So in your own time, you're probably talking down to yourself in your head.
Right.
It's not conducive to building towards your goals and having a good life.
Yeah.
Like,
and
you've got
I want to, dude, 100%.
Affirmations to yourself.
100%, man. And I want to use like analogy of lifting weights, dude. Like, it's never like you can't just come into a gym and just start throwing around weight. It's impossible. Everybody has to stop, or everybody has to start. Everybody has to start somewhere, right? And learning how to talk to yourself and learning how to navigate these waters of just life, you know what I mean, in a healthy, productive way, that just takes time. So let's say, for instance, you plant your flag today and you say, I want to be a better person. I want to be a better father. Okay. Up to that point, you haven't lifted that weight at all. And sometimes you can get 2 sets. You can get 3 sets. Sometimes you can get 6 sets. But sometimes you don't get any sets. And you revert back to the old ways. And you have to be you have to understand that like it just takes time to develop that character. It's a lot easier to be nasty and sitting on the couch and not really understanding like what am I here to do? What am I going to do today?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But once you figure that out, man, or once you try to start figuring that out, ideas are going to start coming. You're going to have an idea generator somewhere, you know, in the shower. You'll be watching yourself like, oh, dude, I have an idea. Boom. And you start acting on that. You know what I mean? So, you know, at the same time, too, what I'm trying to say is don't beat yourself up if you're not 100% of the time.
Yeah. It's impossible to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be absolutely mind numbing and mentally, you know, exhausting. And,
right.
And I think you're exactly right. It's time and repetition to really turn around and get yourself out of a dark hole. You know, if you spent the last 10 years being depressed and drinking and, you know, financially ruining yourself, you're not going to turn that around
in a day.
You can turn it around, but it takes time
and repetition,
but not just time of sitting there. It takes the repetition of changing your outlook every day, changing the choices you make every day, and consistently doing that over time.
Right. And then reflecting and being like, I should have zigged instead of zagged, or I should have
honest self-evaluation.
Yeah. And you know, I think veterans, like a lot of times, man, they put these impossible expectations on themselves.
Yeah.
Because they want to be perfect. They want to be the apex person that they were in the military.
I think everybody does that in general.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially veterans.
Yeah.
But I mean, with the way that social media, you know, it perpetuates this view of perfectness.
Right.
You know, because
let me tell you this.
What?
Dude, let me tell you this, dude, is that like for me, man, like people are always like, yo, dude, you got it together, man. Like, you're killing it, bro. You're killing it. I was like, look, dude, every time you see a post is because I won that day. Yeah. If you don't see a post from me, dude, it's because I lost that battle that day. I lost that battle. And so that's how I started interpreting social media, man, because
that's all it is.
That's all it is, man. People that won and they want to show you that they won.
Yeah,
you know,
and even the ones that are on there that are like, oh, I post my failures as much as I do my wins. It's like, okay, so you fail once a year. You like, I'm sorry, you're fucking crazy.
Yeah,
like, you know, everything you see is some jackass, you know, either buy my diet on how I got an 8-pack. Or some dude standing in front of a Lamborghini or this or that. And it's like, how many times have you seen somebody literally post on there, them laying in bed because they couldn't get out of bed that day because they're in such of a pit of depression, you know, and telling you how real life is.
But even then, let's say we see that post. They're not posting that right then and there in the moment.
No. Nope.
They took that picture and then they're gonna wait a few hours, a day, and show you like, and then when they have time to think and edit and get the right filter. So, dude, like, I'm not trying to say social media is bad, because a lot of social media is good. You know what I mean? Like, um, using the right context, it can be a very powerful tool,
I
right?
think the biggest thing to keep in mind with it is if you feel like it's affecting your emotional health, your mental health, it's
Right.
time to, it's time to take a break. And I think that being honest with yourself about that, because we all deal with this, and we can sit here and we could talk for a week about how fake social media is. But the reality is, when we're off here, a lot of us are going to go on social media and we're going to scroll that timeline. Um, I think that number one, if you can recognize that, if you can recognize the fact that it's having a negative impact on you, and a lot of times, it looks different for different people. It's a fear of missing out. It's, I should be doing this, like that toxic grind or whatever it is, and you start, then that bad self-talk, starts in your head, and, it really starts to spiral fast.
Right.
So I would definitely, encourage anyone, like, really
What
watch
are
that. If you start noticing those things, I'll
what
tell
are
you for myself, you got to stop it. You got to just stop the social media for a period of time.
right? What are some
There's a good time for a break.
right? What are some good techniques that you've used to help reduce the flood of social media in your life?
For myself, honestly, just cold turkey stop it, say for a weekend. So this weekend, I'm going to, attempt to focus on your family. Like, and this is the thing too, you can have kind of grand visions of it. Like, oh, I'm going to unplug this weekend, I'm going to hang out with my family and be really engaged. And you might make it half a day. Okay. Well, you did half a day. That's great. But I'm able to, I'm not going to go out on it all this weekend. So I don't. I noticed it myself a few weeks ago. I started feeling more anxious than usual. I'm just like, man, something's kind of amiss. And I was just mindlessly, in every break in the day I had, I was scrolling that Instagram news feed. And so I was like, all right, we're going to shut it down for a weekend. I shut it down for the weekend. And I've kept that going for a couple of weeks, staying off that timeline, and it's like it gives you that opportunity to focus back on yourselves. You're not trying to hustle and keep up with other people,
For
and,
sure.
and you don't, and I'm not saying don't use social media. Like, I will use it
No.
again, but be aware of it in yourself if it is affecting your mental health or your happiness, or if it's
Yeah.
making you think,
Or or
If
your
it's
time.
making you lazy.
Yeah.
If you're finding yourself sitting on the damn couch for 30 minutes or an hour in an endless scroll, there's something wrong.
I
You need
call
to
it the
step away
scroll
for a
hole,
while.
dude.
Yeah.
I call it the
Like-
scroll hole, dude. Yeah,
You know,
dude.
and-
One of the techniques that I use is I turn off the notifications on my phone,
Mhm.
and then I periodically throughout the day go to my room, plug in my phone on the charger, and then leave the room.
Yeah.
So it's like, because because I have a lot of things going on, dude. I have my constant struggle is like, how do I become more efficient with my time? You know what I mean? And how do I become more productive with a minute? You know what I mean? So that's that's how I do it, man. Sometimes because the internet, my phone is my business, is my life.
Right.
I'm reaching out to the veterans. I'm reaching out for podcast opportunities, but I'm talking to family. At the end of the day, dude, it's like I got to get work done, real work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think I don't do a lot of social media. I have, I mean, I'm 26, so I have an Instagram and a Facebook, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think me and Melissa were talking about this before. I posted like one post. I'm a semi-annual poster. So like every 6 months you might get one out of me.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of the scrolling.
And it's a repost.
But I wish I was still this strong. But like, I mean, I have to check myself because I'll find myself doing that when I'm sitting bored at the house, especially over these last 2 months.
Yes.
Of like, Instagram will tell me like, "Hey, asshole, you're done. You've done all of it." Like, and it's like I've seen everything in the newsfeed twice, and and more than half the time that I'm scrolling through Instagram, I'm not even looking at crap that
It's
like
productive.
I'm like, this is awesome. Half the time,
Yeah.
or more than half the time, I'm like, look at this stupid shit. Like
Yeah.
this, it's just and like some of it like genuinely irritates me because it's not that it's fake. It's because
It's
a lot of
entertainment.
it's
It's
it's all
entertainment.
real. Like most of it's all real,
Right.
but it's the it's what they're like. It's the idea that it's sending of like you have to be on 100% of the time and you can't relax and you have to keep pushing, and if you take a day off you're a worthless piece of shit, and
Yeah.
it's garbage.
It is,
Like
dude. It
that's
is.
like I'm a big fan of like of a particular supplement company, which I'm not going to name names here, but they also had a very large podcast. And it's a
Mhm.
great podcast and it's super motivational and there's a lot of good information in it. But I quit listening to it completely about 2 years ago because there was only one trend with it. And it was you can't ever take a day off.
Yeah.
If you take a day off, you're wasting time.
You're
And
wrong. Yeah.
you're wrong. Like it's like no, nobody can do that. You can't be this proverbial grind. If you did the grind and stayed on the grind, like these like social media influencers say, you will die. Like
For sure.
you're shortening your life because you're gonna have a heart attack at some point, like
Right.
or a mental
Right.
breakdown. You've got
Yeah.
to step back.
Yeah.
No doubt, dude. No doubt.
So let's transition over a little bit, Julian. And I mean, I want to hit on your adaptive fitness. So what does your adaptive fitness look like? What's a week of training look like? And there's something else that we want to hit right off the top. There's a question that's been posed before, I believe, by you. Do you need legs to be strong? Let's get into that and into your fitness.
Sneaky, sneaky. To answer that question, no, you don't. You don't need to be strong. And strength looks in many different ways. You know what I mean? Strength isn't so much how much weight I can lift. No, it's like how many times can you, in my opinion, how many times can you go another round? You know what I mean? How many times can you go one more day? You know what I mean? Because the fact is that like I was always strong, but like I never really spent time in the gym. I would just do maybe like power cleans, clean and press, big body movements, because that's all I really had time for. Now that I'm able to relax and stay in the gym and really stretch out a workout, I usually have like I wreck it, which will, I mean, I'll destroy myself. You know what I mean? Hour and a half in the gym, but it wasn't always like that. You know what I mean? Like, and that's one thing too. I think like the theme of this whole conversation so far is like, don't compare yourself to other people.
Yeah.
Right.
But, because when I first started with catch and lift, I just came off a broken arm and I was doing like 3 sets of 3 or 3 sets of 5 of push-ups. And that was it. And I was done for the day and I would take 2 days off. I still like to take 2 days off because I just feel like the amount of trauma that I take on when I work out, it just affects me differently. You know what I mean? I think it's just the allocation of resources. So what I like to do now a lot of the times, to answer your question about what is my adaptive, how have I adapted to being an amputee and working out, is I utilize the landmine attachment, to be able to have something overhead and your core stabilizers. It's hard for me to work out my right glutes and stuff like that because my legs are small. My right leg, my above knee amputation is so small that I really feel it firing up when I'm holding that landmine attachment, above my head or twisting. Really try to rotate your shoulders perpendicular to your pelvis is something that I try to do as often as I can, and to make it a little more harder, I like to use fat grips. You know,
Oh, I
some, you
love
know,
fat grips.
Yes.
yeah, dude, you know what I mean? Because why are you working out in the first place? You know, is what you got to ask yourself. And for me, um, I work out because I know life's going to be stressful. I know life's going to be hard. So I do things that are hard when times are easy. When things that are hard come around, uh, when things, you know, I do things that are hard while times are easy, because when times get hard, I'm prepared for those hard challenges, and
Yeah.
those hard things become easy.
What's that
So
old quote that easy times make soft men and soft men make hard times?
right,
Uh,
man. Yeah, dude. And so it's like, you know, I try to, um, you know, and it's another thing too, man. You know, I just don't get on the gym and be like, okay, man, 10, all right, yeah. No, man, I'm bringing a sense of intensity, a sense of attitude, you know, a sense of purpose. You know, intention's everything, man. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I always got that little, you know, because I want to crank up the stress level, because the stress level is what I need to decompress with. So I amp up the stress inside the gym, so that when the stress does come in my life, I'm clear, calm, cool, and collected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything, you got to have intention behind everything. That's a Marine Corps thing, you know, do
Yeah,
everything with intent.
yeah.
Everything has a
Intentions,
reason.
intentions, reality, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. If you're doing something without intention, then you're doing something wrong.
Well,
'Cause it's
you're never
that's
doing anything without intention. You know, you
yeah.
could be bringing a half-ass mentality and a half-ass workload
Mm,
because you just don't want to push yourself. And that's
yeah.
your intention, and that's fine if that's what you want. If that's the results that you want, that's okay. But deep down inside, I don't think that those are the results that you
It's not
want.
really what you want. Yeah.
Yeah. And veterans out there, dude, you deserve to have uh, the fruits of your labor, man. But
Yeah.
just know this, that the fruits of your labors comes down to your choice and how you want to receive those. You want a shit sandwich, or you want filet mignon? It's your choice, man.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
You know,
100% accurate, you know.
you
And
know. I wish it was more sexy than that. I wish I could be like, hey, man, and it all just comes down to your thoughts and
I
choices, man.
no, yeah, I like it. You know, I believe in KISS, you know, keep it simple, stupid. So
Don't be extra, dog.
like that's my whole if I have a life motto, it's KISS.
Yeah, man.
if
Don't
it
be extra, man.
everything can be simplified.
Yeah,
And it's just that simple. Like, you know,
yeah.
if you're half-assing something, well, that's your intention.
Mm-hmm.
Change your
Mm-hmm.
intention.
Right,
You
man.
know,
Yeah.
Julian, can you talk to us a little bit, and maybe for some of our listeners tuning in that wouldn't know the difference or how this would affect an athlete, can you talk to us a little bit about the difference, for an athlete if they're dealing with an above the knee amputation as opposed to a below the knee amputation?
Like, what do you mean? Like, how
Just kind of,
has?
considerations with the joint.
Oh, I mean, I don't necessarily know how to answer this question. I think I'm going to try to answer it. And I think that when you're dealing with, are you dealing with it like as an athlete? Am I answering this for the athlete or for the person
I
trying to coach
mean,
the athlete?
well, you could do, I mean, kind of both ways. I think that, we possibly have veterans on here that would like to hear about, differences that they could approach training if they had an above or below the knee amputation. And if we have, any non-military or people that don't
Yeah.
understand, because I mean, they're,
One,
it's,
I got you. One of the things that that I take into consideration a lot of times is balance, right? And so I try to look for ways to take out the whole wobble part, because a lot of times as an amputee you feel like you're on stilts, right? You're on a platform and it's a moving platform, and a lot of times if you're not careful you can get a hernia, you can blow out your elbow, you can blow out your knee, you can really strain your back. So that's why for a double amputee as myself, and I would say across the board, core strength is number one. You know what I mean? So how do I develop core strength? And in a compound type of setting, right? Compound meaning weighted type of setting. And I would say that anything above your head is a good way to do that. But then you respond by, well, I don't have that good of balance. Roger that. So you have to think of ways on how we're going to skin this cat, and you look at it objectively and you say, well, if I'm on my feet, then that's the problem, right? My center of gravity is too high from the weight, and I'm off balance. I'm too top heavy because there's no counterweight. So what I've done is I wear my prosthetics, and I just uh, do a lot of the overhead pressing on my knees. So I've lowered the center of gravity and I've increased the compound weight. And so there is a double whammy, and I've done that. You know, another thing I like to use a lot is steel clubs. They look like bowling ball pins. You know what I mean? Especially for the
like swinging around your head and stuff.
yeah, dude, especially like for like the scapular strength, the neck strength. I really enjoy putting up, like touching my, opposite shoulder blades and coming straight down. And 10 pounds looks very different when it's in a club.
Oh my gosh, yes. They humble
know
you
what
in
I
a
mean?
hurry. Wow, yes.
Yeah, and it's okay. So like I've had a 10-pound steel club, and that's it. I've had two of them for like a year and a half, and I'm not ready for a 15-pound weight. And I use them every day, and I'm like, nah, I need this still. You know what I mean? Or I don't use them every day. I use them every time I train to warm up the shoulder blades, to warm up the rotator cuff, and really just, name me an exercise that you don't use your front shoulder for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to take care of that stuff. And for me, especially for amputees, especially like, yo, man, dude, allocation of resources. You don't want to go, and if you're a double amputee, you don't want to blow out your shoulder and become a triple amputee because now you can't use your arm.
Right.
It's not the fact that, like, what's the main goal of working out? It's not the amount of weight you can do. It's the amount of time and days in the gym. You know what I mean?
And
how can
improve mobility and your
yeah,
movement?
Exactly. It's how could you be better if you're hurt? Because you're not taking care of the auxiliary, like your scapular strength.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Your rotator cuff. You got to take care of those, man, because there's not an exercise that anybody does that doesn't include your front shoulder.
Do you have any what's your favorite thing, either mobility wise in the gym that you're doing or outside? If it's a rest day, like what does recovery look like for you, Julian? Because this is a reoccurring theme, this importance of recovery. What's that look like for you?
Recovery for me is 8 hours of sleep. 8 hours of sleep, a good quality sleep, meaning that, like, let's say, for instance, I wreck it on Monday, right? Let's just say for fun. I wreck it on Monday. That Monday, I will make sure that I'm in the sun after my workout. So that, like, it increases serotonin levels, especially when it goes, turns into night. Your body already knows. Also, I turn on the AC and I drop my temperature down to like 62 degrees right before I go to bed. And then I shut it off. I don't sleep like that. But to have something a lot cooler, I just get better sleep that way. You know what I mean? Yeah. And this is something that I've learned throughout my time with Catch Lift is, I'm starting to become more in tune to myself and understanding what I need,
Yeah.
My favorite thing I feel better when I eat like a nice third cup of oatmeal, half cup of oatmeal in the morning. Plain oatmeal, dude, with boiled raisins. I'll boil my raisins before I throw it in there.
Well,
and
yeah,
dude, I mean, like, it's good. I spend a little bit of extra money, get the good quality stuff. I'm not trying to eat no Quaker oats. But you know what I mean? And maybe I'll treat myself and I'll throw in, like, a half tablespoon of butter, good quality grass-fed butter. I feel best that way. You know what I mean? Black coffee, and just when it's time to rest, you rest. You don't watch a movie. You don't read a book. No, man. You take deep breaths, focus on your breathing, and check in with yourself. That to me, that's what rest looks like. And of course, stretching and proper hydration and proper protein intake, all that stuff like matters. But most importantly, dude, if you're not, I think you said this the last time you were on the podcast, Tyler, is if you're not sleeping, you're not recovering.
No, yeah, not at all. If you're not sleeping,
You're wrong.
it's impossible to recover. If you're not sleeping, you're wrong. But
Yeah.
if you sleep too long, you're wrong too.
Yeah, and yeah, dude.
And it's not physical. Like a lot of that isn't the physical recovery. I mean, you have to sleep to physically recover and grow,
Period.
But the bigger thing about that is the mental impact that it has. If you're not recovered physically and you're always physically drained, then eventually your mindset and your mental state is just going to be wrecked.
Right.
The brain's got to recover just like every other organ in your body.
Dude, that's the mobile command center, dude.
Yeah.
And it all ends up connecting because, again, poor sleep, you're going to just fall into those, the bad thought patterns again. And it all connects. So definitely if that sleep's not there, you're in trouble.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's, what is it? I think it was Rich Piana. I mean, not a really great example of a healthy human being, but he always preached that. He always said, we don't go to the gym to grow. We go to the gym to tear our body up, and then we go home to sleep and grow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, I'm huge on naps. If I feel myself being tired, dude, if I
awesome.
Especially being with the kids, and sometimes they wake up in the middle of the night. Sometimes, there is a balance between hiding behind your kids and hiding behind your responsibilities and giving yourself a way out.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, well, I can't work out today because I got to take care of the kids. No. You have to think. You have to pregame, man. You have to plan appropriately and be like, well, if I'm going to be going to doctor appointments, if I got to pick up the kids from practice or whatever, if I got to do all this stuff, pack yourself a lunch, man.
Yeah.
Pack yourself some healthy snacks.
Excuse,
don't give yourself the excuse and be like, well, I got to drive all over today. I got to run a bunch of errands. Well, nowadays, not many people are driving as much as they used to be, but that doesn't matter. Like, even to this day, dude, I'll make an extra chicken breast, or I'll make an extra steak, or I'll make, so I have lunch already made for the next day. You know what I mean? And I always have like something like white rice. Me being Mexican, dude, always have some kind of pinto bean ready. You know what I mean? So it's like, so I always have a side ready, ready to eat with my protein. Something healthy, a healthier choice rather than. Of course, I have kids, dude, so I have Ruffles in the house, or I have Oreo cookies. You know what I mean? Like, and if I don't plan appropriately, I've noticed that I make those easy decisions.
So it's like
I
do that. I do that a lot.
Yeah,
I don't even have kids, so I have no.
But yeah, dude, you know what I mean. So like, you have to be real with yourself, and say to yourself, well, if I'm having trouble going to the gym every day and I want to work out in the morning, but I have a problem with going to the gym and getting dressed and doing all that stuff. How about this, man? How about you go to bed in your gym clothes? Take that process out of you, man. Out of your decision-making process, ready, make it for yourself. So you don't have to think about it in the morning.
Just go ahead and green light for the next day,
Yeah, dude. If you know that, like, oh, man, I don't want to waste my supplements, dude. So if I have my shaker already ready the night before, so I can just dump the pre-workout in it, boom. You're building yourself up for success, man. And that's what I'm talking about as far as like making sure that when you leave the house, you have a little kit bag with you, man. You have your snacks, you have your hydration source. Maybe you have a book, you know what I mean? So you're not always on your phone. Don't give yourself a way out, man. If you know that there's adversity and you know that there's obstacles, look at those obstacles and be like honest with yourself and be like, yo, man, I'm going to fix it this way. This is my deficiencies, and I'm going to and I'm gonna work on it.
Yeah.
Apparently, Lynn sleeps in her gym clothes to be ready
Dude,
for the gym the next
dude,
day.
since this whole deal has happened, dude, like I am constantly in basketball shorts and my catch lifters. That's all I wear, dude.
Always like that.
Yeah, dude, like, you know.
Oh man, I don't
But-
ever have that excuse of like I shot myself in the foot with the whole gym clothes excuse because like that's an
I like
easy
how
way
you
out
work
for a
out,
lot of people, huh?
I like how you work out, dude. You
Oh,
work out in like jeans and a
yeah,
t-shirt.
that's what I'm saying. Like that's a lot of people's first excuses. Oh man, I forgot my gym clothes. I can't use that anymore because
Yeah,
there's so many videos and pictures of me out there in
with it.
tactical pants and jeans, just squatting and
Yeah.
deadlifting and
Yeah.
competing. And I was just like, I can't.
My bad. Yeah, I just came
Yep.
from the grocery store, man. It's time to get some reps in. Yeah, man. For sure.
And
But yeah, I
that's
mean,
another thing. It's like, when I first started doing that, people were like, "Why do you do that?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, like, why not? Like, I mean, you train to be, strong and ready, like whenever.
In all situations, right?
So why
Right.
not just go ahead and figure out how to do that with the clothes you're going to be wearing in those
Yeah.
situations, I guess."
And that's one thing too, man. It's like don't get married to the ritual.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, don't be like, well, I can't work out because I don't have my pre-workout. False. You know what I mean? Neither did was the first strongest man. He didn't have, the guy who he didn't have a pre-workout. You know what I mean? What did he have?
Yeah,
He had
it's
oatmeal.
crutch. It's
Yeah,
crutch.
he had porridge. That's what he he moved all that weight with. You know what I mean? So it's like, there's somebody out there in a third world country lifting chicken coops.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Eating grains of rice and he's still putting in gains. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, this whole, and that's why I love like lifting weights. I love, hiking and mountain climbing, and yoga and all these things. It's because like you're against yourself. I've often said that like going to Afghanistan is way easier than living with Afghanistan, because I feel like the greatest war that I'm ever fighting or the greatest battle I'm ever fighting is myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And learning yourself and being able to hack into your thought pattern of like, oh, I can't do this because I don't have X or I don't have Z. Dude, game to game, make sure you get in there, dude, because it's important.
Yeah, you're not thinking of the necessities, what you need to get it done. You're thinking of what you want to have to get it done.
Yeah, man.
And
like,
it
don't
should
forget why you
always-
started. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what you're saying about like, you're against yourself. You're up against yourself. That's like what you're competing against in life. Is and what I mean by that is like you're against what you were yesterday or the day before.
Right.
And if you're beating that every day, then that's improvement. I've done like my share of strongman competitions, and I don't know why, but there's always somebody, which I don't know if you've ran into this, Melissa, but like right before the competition, there's always somebody, whether you know them or not, and they go, "Well, are you nervous?
Oh, I hate that.
Are you nervous to go?"
Always.
And I've never once ever been nervous. I don't get nervous. And so that's exactly what I tell them. No, I don't get nervous. And it blows people's mind. They're like, how do you not get nervous? You're going to do the strongman competition. There's all these other competitors. And it's like, I don't give a shit. I'm not competing against them.
Yeah.
I'm competing against them. I'm in their weight class,
Right.
But I'm competing against me. That's who I'm going to beat. I'm going to beat myself.
Right.
And what I did last time or what I did in the gym or,
and
whatever.
Dude,
and
that
if
reminds me
that's the way you look at everything,
dude.
then you can't be mad at somebody else. You can't be upset with somebody else. You can't get scared or nervous, because you already have all the information. Like,
Right.
you get nervous from not knowing, from lack of understanding or lack of information on what's to come.
Right.
Well, if you're competing against yourself and every day to beat what you used to be or what you were, no matter if it's a powerlifting competition, strongman competition, your financial standpoint, it doesn't matter. You
No.
can't. You already know what's been done, so you know what you have to beat. That's the easiest fucking thing to do.
Right.
You give
And
you the
dude,
answers.
and dude, like that, and that, like, that just reminds me of something, dude, that I've learned along the way, is that, like, there is no competition.
Yeah.
There is no, because, dude, there's enough for everybody.
Absolutely.
And check this out, man. If we're in the veteran community, right? We're talking about veterans here. If
Yep.
I see a veteran succeeding in a positive way and doing good for his community, dude, or her community, then dude, I can stand behind that and I can cheerlead for that, because, dude, if you win, then
You
I
should.
win. Right. You know what I mean? Because if you win, then I win, man. And the only real competition is yourself. I mean, we're talking about lifting weights here, man, but you can go across the board, man.
Oh yeah.
Anything in life. It's like there is no competition. You compete with yourself, and you're learning how to master yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to take a lifetime to do that. So,
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
That's a bombshell right there. Your
Thanks,
biggest competition's you.
Yeah, it's it, dude. And what's funny is that, like, deep down inside, dude, you know what you have to do.
Yeah.
You know what you have to do. There's never been a time where I've done something wrong where I didn't know that I was doing something wrong, or I didn't know that I was supposed to be doing something else.
Or
I
at
just
least had a
ignored.
damn that something wasn't right.
What's that?
Or at least at least you had a feeling that something wasn't right. You might not
Exactly.
know, but
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And so it's just like, yeah, dude. And so listen to that, man. And if you want to be better, go get it, dude. Because, this whole thing about, like, oh, dude, life gives you lemons, make lemonade, dude. But they forgot about the worst, or the other part of that saying is that, like, you have to go get your lemons, you have to go get your water, you have to go get your sugar.
Because life doesn't give you shit.
No, it just gives
life
you an
don't
experience.
give you anything.
No,
you got to go
you
get
experience.
everything.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
The only thing that you got given was life.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, because it wasn't a choice. I wasn't, you know what I mean? I
you were
didn't
thrust into that. Well,
yeah,
man, on that note, I think that's the best bombshell we can give today. So I think that's going to be it for this week.
Right on, brother. Well, I appreciate you guys, man. Thanks for everything you do, man.
Dude,
thanks.
It was awesome having you on the show, Julian.
Absolutely.
Oh, dude.
And I need to move back to California so I can be your neighbor, and we can yell shit at neighbors. But
no doubt, dude, no doubt.
Hey, everybody, thanks for tuning in again this week. Really appreciate all the support. Right now, we're at like 50 minutes, and we ran longer, but that's because Julian has infinite wisdom and knowledge on how to be awesome. So thank you for sticking around.
Thanks for tuning in with us, guys. And remember, we welcome your feedback and comments at coachescorner@catchaliftfun.com. Also, leave a comment on this YouTube video or on our Facebook posts. And veteran members, you're free to join us after. If you want to talk to Julian some more in the rally point, leave your name in the conversation box and we'll send you an email.
We'd like to thank everybody with Catch a Lift Fund who's helped put this thing together. Lynn, Henry, double thanks to Henry because he's been working his ass off, and he's still running the show because we had like 9 million technical errors this morning. Thank you to ID Technologies for the ongoing support and everything they've done for us. They are the heaviest hitters when it comes to corporate support and belief in an organization when they absolutely don't have to. So this would not be happening without them for sure. Thank you to everybody that's tuned in week after week. Thank you if this is your first week. We want, like, from the bottom of our hearts, you're helping more veterans than you could ever imagine by supporting the Catch a Lift Fund. And we hope to stick it out and stay around for a very long time. So until next week, thank you and stay cow strong.
Yeah, buddy.